Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, the motivational professional development guy. Today's discussion is bad work atmosphere. Bad work atmosphere. But before we get started, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this podcast, whether it is on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Radio Public, Red Circle, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Please consider subscribing. Hey, please leave a comment. I'm going to ask you a question like I always do in every single show. When I ask you this question, please respond to this question, right? We're just trying to get this thing circulating to as many people as possible, right? Many people as possible. And hey, share it with your friends. Share it with your coworkers. Share it with your colleagues. Share it with your family. This podcast here, if you think someone would like to listen to it or they will learn something from it, please share this podcast. Just try to spread it out to as many people as possible. And like always, if you hear anything that you like, or I might have made something resonate that you probably say, you know what, I haven't thought about that in a while, please find that like button as well. And also too, you all, if you do subscribe to the show, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That notification bell on the right side of YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you can get notifications every single time I post a podcast. All right, folks, with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this show tonight. Once again, this is the motivational professional development guy. This discussion is bad work atmosphere. Now, my question is, like I said, I always start out with a question. Have you ever worked in a bad atmosphere? I want you to put that in the comment section. Then I want you to, the second part of that question is, I want you to respond to this as well. How was it? Tell me a little bit about that experience. Please don't mention any names. We don't do names around here, right? Don't mention any names, but I want you to at least explain how that felt to be inside of that bad work atmosphere. Bad work atmosphere. All right, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. I am calling on all managers, owners, business owners, leaders of a company. I'm talking to the supervisors, team leads, all of you all. If you are in any type of leadership position, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Because you are the only person that can create the culture that you desire inside of your staff, your team, your organization, whatever it is that you are supervising and leading, right? You have the ability, the opportunity, and the autonomy to develop that, whatever culture that is, that culture that you desire to have. So, if it was easier to be a leader, everybody would be one, right? So we know, hey, you have to take on that responsibility. I know most people say, well, these people are grown. They have to work. They want to pay bills. I pay them. All of these things that we talk about. We can say all that we want to, but if we're going to be real as leaders, if we're going to be real, you are the person who creates the culture on your staff. And you're going to hear me say staff a lot from the beginning because people like to say team. And it takes time to build a team, right? It takes time to build a team. That's another show. But it takes time to build a team. That's why I say I stick to staff, because you have to build a team. So I can't give you a team first. I'm going to give you a staff of people. Then you have to build them as a team, which kind of coincides with what we're talking about today on today's show, which is working in a bad atmosphere. You, leader, coach, manager, business owner, team lead, if you're in a leadership position, you control what type of culture that you have on your staff. And a lot of times, as leaders, we can cause some bad atmosphere because from stereotyping. I'm being real. Y'all know I'm going to keep it 1,000 anyway, not 100. I'm going to keep it 1,000. We stereotype for different reasons. When people first come on, we stereotype. We show favoritism. Much as we are, it's amazing that people do certain things, but they don't want to be called that person that they do, right? I'm gonna do it, but just don't call me a person who does favoritism. Yeah, I'm showing favoritism, but when you say it, I'm gonna give you some pushback on it. No, if that's who you are, that's what you're doing. You need to own up to that, because if you want to actually become better at that, or not doing it, and become a person who doesn't do that, then you need to listen. Then you need to take some self-awareness with that and take heed to that, so you won't become that person. But that's a lot of the situation. You stereotyping people, not giving certain people opportunities to be successful. Why would you do that if you hired the person? I mean, you should really think about that. I hired someone, but I don't want to give them an opportunity to advance. I hired someone, but I don't want to give them an opportunity for growth. I'm gonna say that one more time, because it doesn't even make sense. I know I'm saying this in the show, but it doesn't even make sense. I want you to really think about it. I hired someone, but I don't want them to advance. I hired someone, but I don't want them to have growth. Think about that. This is why I started off at the beginning of the show saying managers, leaders, supervisors, I'm talking to you, because you're the only person that have control of that. See, being a leader is not just all about the title. And I know a lot of us just want to be a leader. We stick our chest out because we own something, because we're leading people, because I'm the manager, because I'm the supervisor. All along, we're not checking ourselves the whole time. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to, if there was a almost a national prerequisite that to be a leader, that you have to go through some type of psychological exam, because a lot of leaders in this world, country, are jacked up. They're jacked up. They got issues going on. They cause these bad atmosphere, and then will gaslight you to make you think it's you. Or people don't want to work. Or you didn't try for this opportunity. You don't say anything. After you have already set the atmosphere that they couldn't try for it. I didn't share the information for it. But when it comes out, you gaslight them. I'm talking to you, leaders, managers. We're doing self-awareness right now. We talk about self-awareness all the time. You can't go on social media anywhere. Self-awareness. People talk about it, but are you really about it? Are you really about developing yourself to become a better person, to make it better, to make things better? Why would you think about this right here. Why would I want to lead you if I'm not there to make you better? I got to say that one more time. Why do I want to lead you if I'm not there to make you better? Forget about the title. Title means nothing if I'm not doing anything with it. I'm the leader. And what are you leading me to? Do you really care about me? Where's your credibility in showing me that you care about me? That I can trust you, right? Right? I think a lot of leaders need to start focusing on becoming a better leader. And here's the beautiful thing about the self-awareness thing, you all. The beautiful thing about, looking in that mirror, right? Because I've said this before that, it's easy to look in a window. I could look in a window all day long, like, oh, we wasn't successful because of her. Oh, we didn't hit our goal because of him. It was her fault that we didn't get that last project. Oh, it was his goal. It was his fault that we didn't get that last contract. Or it was her fault that everybody's right. Or it was his fault. I could do that all day. All day. As a leader can do that all day. But can you look in that mirror and say, what could I have done as their leader to ensure that we hit that goal, that we got that contract, that we made that deadline, that we made things better? Looking in that mirror, what could I have done? That's that self-awareness I'm talking about. But there's too many leaders out there that they rather make their employees feel like it's their fault. And they do it because they know they can, because they have the power. Because all they're gonna make you feel like your job is in jeopardy, or your job can be in jeopardy. That's a bad work atmosphere. If you're doing it as a leader, I'm not gonna say shame on you. I'm gonna say I challenge you to become better. I'm gonna challenge you to become a better leader. That's my challenge to you. Become better. And how are you going to do that? You're going to better yourself, because you have to better yourself before you can lead anyone. Remember that? You hear people say, take care of the house first. Take care of yourself first. Make sure you're better first before you lead anyone. And stop with the manipulative actions. Stop with the gaslighting. Stop with the fear tactics. Stop those things and actually become a real leader. And not just because you have a title and you feel protected. That's what you do. Look in that mirror. No one has to know that you looked in that mirror. You got to deal with it, but look in the mirror. Become a better leader. We should all want that. We should all want that, to become a better leader. If that's what you are. You're leading people. You got people careers, people families, people income, people life, people ways of taking care of themselves, people ways of doing extra things for their families in your hands. Create a better atmosphere for people. If you really, every study shows that people don't leave jobs, they leave people. They're talking about you leaders. When they say leave people, it's not their co-workers that's at that same level. Yeah, they can have their odds, but only thing a co-worker can do to you is hate on you and talk about you. That's it. But you leaders, you have the power to cut people out. You have the power to keep people off of projects. You have the power to not advance people. You have all those different types of power. Better yourself and watch how your staff actually becomes a team. I'm going to say that one more time. Better yourself and watch how your staff actually becomes a team. Not a half a team. Not certain people on your staff becoming a team and working together all the time. I'm talking about your whole staff becoming a team. Because we can't get that confused either, because a lot of times we look at that as success. No. You still have 2, 3, 4, 5 people over here that's not a part of the team. As long as you have one person, and I'm going to leave with this right here. As long as you have one person on your staff who doesn't feel like they're part of the staff or going the opposite direction, you do not have a team. You have a bunch of individuals. If you just have one person, one that feel that they are not part of the staff or team, quote unquote team, you have a bunch of individuals. So again, owners, leaders, supervisors, managers, team leaders, my challenge to you is to become a better leader. My challenge to you is to do a self-assessment and be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. You know you. We all know ourselves, right? You know you. Do a self-assessment, a true self-assessment, and become a better leader. Folks, that's going to conclude our show tonight. This is your host, the motivational professional development guy. Our show tonight we talked about working in a bad atmosphere. Folks, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to this show, whether it's on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Red Circle, Ready to Go Public, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. Or if you subscribe on YouTube, it's over there on the right hand side. The notification bell so you can get these shows every single week. If you heard something that you liked tonight or that resonated with you, find that like button as well. Right? Find that like button. Share this podcast with as many people as possible. Just trying to spread it out to the masses. Right? Go ahead and help me out with that. And comment. I want you to answer my question. Have you ever worked in a bad work atmosphere? And if so, how was it? Don't mention any names again. We don't mention any names, but let me know how was that experience for you? And the reason I want you all to do that is because if you're not in a leadership position and you become in a leadership position, I want you to get that out of your system. It's sort of like a journal, right? You wrote it like, hey, this is what happened, right? And it kind of resonates. It's going to resonate with you. But it's going to resonate with you in a positive way this time. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that, right? I want to throw some extra in there for you. The reason that's going to resonate for you is because when you do become a leader, you won't duplicate that. You will not duplicate that because you didn't like the feeling. That's how that works. You didn't like the feeling of being in that bad atmosphere. So write it out. Get it off your chest. Write it. Share it. Folks, this is a motivational professional development guy. Thank you all for listening and watching the show every single week. Be safe, and I'll talk to you next week. Good night.